ready? There we go. Okay, let's move that out of the way. And we're looking for her Mercury and her Sun. We got them. Her Mercury is way the hell in front of her Sun. Holy crap. Her Mercury is way in front of her Sun. Her Mercury is at 24 degrees in Cancer. Oh, wow, Eiley, that's so fascinating because we started this, I was going to say this video, we started this live talking about, right, Mercury ahead of the Sun. Interesting, Eiley. Really interesting. Wow. So her Sun is at 0 degrees. Wow. She says she has lots of events that happen in her life. I remember you telling me this. I think you were in the live when you told all of us events that happen with you and other women, mothers, right? Whether it was kind of sad stuff too, like people dying, right? Like passing through one door, going to the next. You know, it depends on how you look at life. Some people say when you die, well, you're dead. And then some people say, well, you're leaving this life to be born into another life, right? So it depends on how you look at it. But Eiley has mentioned that she is not a mother, but yet she really, I think, has been privileged to be around when there are intense transitions happening. And that makes sense because 8th house is known as the house of transformation, right? And some say death, however you want to look at it, because it doesn't always have to be like a physical death. You know, it's Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy can be, yeah, pretend like you don't see that. Don't look behind the curtain. I'm sorry. I'm kind of I really don't know what's going on. How about there you go. Yeah. It's all better now. So her Mercury being way in front of her Sun, what is it? It's in front of the Sun. This means that she gets information ahead of time, right? What about it being confusing? Because it's in Cancer energy and it's empathy, it's feelings, it's family, it's emotion, it's history. It's from her childhood, right? Mercury in Cancer speaks about mom, mother wounds, especially in the 8th house. Mother wounds for sure. The 8th house is kind of the house of tragic stuff, right? When we look at the 8th house, tragic stuff happening, intense emotional wounds, deep bonds, attachments, for sure. Attachments. I'm sorry, I keep hearing the word attachment like repetitively over and over and over right now. So, things that happen in childhood, things that happen to mom, possibly mom's mom, like there's ancestry energy here. Ancestry, history, my ancestors, right? All that is included. And of course, connecting with the other side. 8th house. Yeah, talking to dead loved ones, being a medium. You've got Jupiter there too. Actually, Jupiter is really beneficial in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer energy, which means it's really powerful. It functions really well there. Yep. It's really beneficial. 8th house, again, really psychic too. The only thing that makes it super tricky, I shouldn't say the only thing, there's a lot of things that make it tricky. Even though your Mercury's in front, it is still super tricky because it's empathic energy and connecting to the other side. And so all those other things that we like don't physically see with our eyes, you're in tune with them. You're hearing those as well. So this complicates the rule, doesn't it? It complicates oh, but my information is clear and it's spot on. It can be confusing because there's a lot of it's like information overload, but it's sensitivities and feelings and emotional overload, Make sense? Emotional needs, emotional security, things about family, all that and more because Cancer energy, guys, think about it. We talk about Cancer as in mom and family. That's the micro. The macro on that sign is the public. It's humanity. Yeah. Your bigger family is humanity. So being in tune to things that are going to happen, like Eiley, I would like to know before the pandemic happened, because you got Jupiter in Cancer and Mercury. Like, did you have intuitions? Did you have a strong, like, any idea like before that big event? Did you have any idea something big was going to happen? And it doesn't mean you had to know exactly what it was. Oh, that thing returned. Holy crap. Let me get rid of it. All right, let me read, Eileen, what you're saying. I'm sure Eileen's got some words here. Wow. I always got to look back. There you go. That looks much better like that. Center it a little bit. You're stuck with me for a little bit. Eileen, yes, I did. I started streaming, cleaning up. You were loading up on food. We are isolated. You were stocking up on food. Okay, because I'm like, what does that mean? Clean up on food? You were stocking up on food. Oh, right. Right. Your food is shipped in. That's right. Yeah. Eileen, for anybody who doesn't know, Eileen's in Alaska. Okay, Tasha, your Mercury and your sun. We're looking for your Mercury and your sun. So I see your sun, your Mercury's at 10 degrees Scorpio. Where's your sun at? Oh, I'm sorry. And my sun is 27 degrees. But what sign is your sun in? Is the question. What sign is your sun in? Your Mercury obviously is behind because it's in the 12th and your sun is in the front. Okay. That explains, right? A lot. What? Come on back up. I'm not going over there again. Come on. I'll massage you. Come on. Eileen, what do you think? Does this make sense for you? Only accessible by boat or plane. Yeah. Yeah. That would absolutely, yeah, be a thing. I mean, a lot of places are, but so you knew, you were like, okay, it's time to start stocking up. Yeah. That's your Mercury all the way out in the front and the Jupiter. Because this is what happens with this too. I mean, other than having that stuff in the 8th house, what also happens is this is having your finger on the pulse of the public, Cancer energy, with this much stuff in Cancer. And it doesn't mean it can't show up in different ways in other people's charts. And for me to say those same words, it can. It doesn't have to look identical to this. But for Eileen's chart, absolutely, this is having your finger on the pulse, meaning you feel it. It's not like you're trying to understand it or you're trying to know it. It's just a strong knowing. You know, mother's intuition type of shit. Yeah, that's this, right? But it's not just with your own family, it's with the public. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yep. Oh, yeah. Mhm. That's pretty powerful. That's really powerful. All right, so let me see if I got Tasha's chart in here because Tasha has been hanging out and trying to find out. Tasha, I believe we had you in here before. I could be wrong, but what I'm saying is I think you're already in the system, which really helps. Because then um November 19th, is this right? She didn't even mess around. She just gave her that works. All right, we're doing a switcheroo real quick. And we're going to go to Tasha's real quick here so that Tasha can have a moment. All right, Tasha, we're going to look you up. So we're looking for Tasha's sun and her Mercury. And Tasha was correct. She said her Mercury was in her 12th, and there it is. Mercury in her 12th, and her sun is right there. They're both in Scorpio. You see that? The sun is in her first. So it's in a different house, and that matters. Let me let this kitty cat out. Hold on. She just got in here, but she's like, I'm leaving now. In the door next time, I'm just letting you know. Oh, he'd be like, oh my God. Okay. So the lesson tonight is what happens when we have, Mercury and the sun, because they work as a team. They're never more than 60 degrees apart, typically, normally. And so them being in the same sign is common. And what is the difference? Because Mercury is our mind. It's how I think. So how does it work when Mercury, this would be a Mercury that is behind the sun. They are in the same sign, but it's behind the sun and it's in a different house. Your Mercury is your mind. It's the way you think. It's the way you talk. It's the way you learn. You have a Mercury in Scorpio, super psychic energy. It is in the 12th house, right? It's in your 12th. So what happens is the 12th can make things disappear. It confuses things. It throws a cloud or a veil, right? It makes a little bit of a mystery, right? And so if Mercury is your mind and it's in the 12th, that can be a challenge at times then, right? That can kind of be a challenge. The thing here is that if you have a Mercury in the 12th and a Mercury in Scorpio, it's almost as though you're being forced to rely upon your intuitions. Because your Mercury doesn't have a whole lot of power here in the 12th house. The thinking and the mind becomes very confusing. Now, that's just one piece of this. The other piece is that your Mercury is behind your sun. It's behind your sun. And so the rule is when the Mercury is behind the sun, we definitely are going to learn differently. We might feel like we're a slow learner. We might feel like we get it later than everybody else, like whatever. Like if you're in a classroom or something, the teacher's teaching, whatever the hell, and you're just like, damn, everyone seems like they got it. I still don't understand, right? And so that's freaking Mercury behind your sun, how you learn, how you take in information, and then how you communicate it as well. Mercury in Scorpio is an awesome researcher, by the way. Like they dive deep. They are the super detective of the zodiac. So what that tells me is for you to learn something, if you dive into it, like really dive into it, having all those details, getting down to the root of something, then understanding it from the below the foundation on up, that might help. That might help. That would, kind of give you the all the little pieces that feel like they're missing, all the additional information that seems to be eluding you. Now, the next piece of this is that your sun is not only in front of your Mercury, but it's in a different house. 12th house is that it's kind of mysterious, right? It's kind of like the unknown. It also speaks to, some say karmic energy, like other lifetimes, past lives. 12th house can be prayer and meditation, but it's music too and sound, right? Lyrics and poetry. You use your Mercury in a really creative way. You got Scorpio, which is creative, and Pisces, 12th house, Pisces, very creative. So use that creative energy. It's not good. I gave an example earlier. With a Mercury mind like this is for creative endeavors. It's fantasy, it's writing movies, it's fictional stuff, right? It's make believe. It's dreamy, sleep and dreams. Okay. This isn't a person with their Mercury where we're like, oh, yeah, we're going to take a class in accounting. No, absolutely not. That would not be a strength. That would be difficult for this Mercury. Your Mercury is to be used in a creative way, right? Music might be a good idea, sound, any sort of artistic abilities whatsoever, like your Mercury would excel there. But Mercury by nature is a writer. which is why I recommended maybe music. Even poetry is a big deal, especially because poetry is definitely 12th house. It's a 12th house thing, is poetry for sure. So poetry pops out. Now, your sun in your first house makes it all about yourself. This isn't about self. This is about unity and oneness. This is sacrifice because that's the 12th house energy. But the first house is about my body and my appearance. That's first house energy. And if your sun is there, yeah, the sun being there means that's, there's something about you and the way that you communicate that may come on a bit intense, right? Because that's at the first glance. And the sun is not just how we communicate, but it's more about how we express, like how we come across, right? Whether it's by talking, just how we communicate in general, how we are expressing, I should say. Because we can communicate in a lot of different ways. Like we can throw looks at people, right? A Scorpio sun at 27 degrees might be prone to do that. And so people might look at you and kind of be like, okay, you might look like a warrior. You got Scorpio on the ascendant. This is Mars. Mars rules Scorpio. This is like a person who's ready for battle, right? so so there's a little bit of that in there because your first house also has a stellium in Sagittarius energy. You've got a freaking stellium there, which is a lot of planets in Sag, right? Yep. Trying to get you a different color so you can see it. Yep. You've got your Vulcan 4 degrees in Sag as part of the stellium, and it goes all the way into your second house. Holy shit. Look at that. Look at that Sagittarius stellium. And that's a north node. It ends with your north node in Sag. So do yourself a favor. Please go watch the series on stelliums. There's a video series on the channel. I think it's only 2 videos long. It dives deep. It dissects a person's chart and it talks about how to understand that stellium. Okay. There might be some basic astrology that you might need to know to understand it, but at least go listen to it, go watch it. Your questions that you pertain to that, ask them under that video in the comment. That is how I can most answer the question accurately and I want to say expeditiously, because then I'm not like, okay, what are they talking about? What is this in reference to? I know why, because I know what a video it's under. Make sense? Astrology is not a quick learn. So just remember that. No one's going to get it because they watched a couple of videos. That's not the way it works. Not at all. Especially if you don't have a chart where you're like predispositioned to understand it and know it. But look at her third house. She's got some Aquarius in her third house, and that is astrology. Look at that. You have 6 degrees. How do I know that? Because your fourth house cusp line begins here. And that is at 6 degrees. That's where your fourth house cusp line begins. So that tells me that you have the preceding degrees of Aquarius in your third house, which tells me you have 6 degrees, right? 6 degrees, 14 minutes of Aquarius in your third. And you also have structured thoughts, very structured thoughts. That's a benefit. You have Capricorn in your third. Having organized, structured thoughts can be great. It might be difficult when you were younger because it can represent some restrictions with learning, but you have Venus there, which is beautiful. Again, everybody learns in a different way. Some people are hands-on. Some people are like, oh, I'm all visual. Some people are like, I need to write shit down. I need to also see the visual. Then I need an example. Then I need to actually have my hands in it and do it myself like 5, 10, 15, 25 times. And then I know it. Everyone's different. And the whole point is that Mercury up there speaks to that. Okay. And of course your third house. I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but I gotta be honest. Like the third house is ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules this. So this also tells us about your mind. This explains, this Mercury and your other Mercury being in the 12th house explains how you stumble upon the star and how you've come here. Like there's this curiosity. There's also this intuitive knowledge that you carry within your soul of, I know there's more than meets the eye. I know there's more out there. Like you've got Mercury and Scorpio. This is the occult. All things that are hidden are going to be, yeah, your mind's on those things. And having Aquarius astrology in your third house, and then you have it in your fourth house. Fourth house Aquarius energy, group energy, friends. Like, do you have a big family? Did you have a lot of people around you? Maybe even multi generational people, younger and older people. Aquarius energy, friends and group energy. Wow. Yes, forever learning. It absolutely is. Even when you think you know everything about astrology, right? It's forever learning. All Scorpios have this thing with the unseen. They sure do. They sure do, because they feel it. They know there is shit that's there that's just not seen. Okay, hold on. I'm catching up in the chat. So I hope that helps you, Tasha. I don't see any comments. So I hope you were here and that you got to hear that. Hopefully it connected some dots for you. Hopefully it makes some things like, oh, like a light bulb goes on, be like, oh shit, no wonder. That is the beauty of astrology. That is one of the most beautiful things. That's why I call it a sacred science, because it teaches us about who we are. So I tell people, get your freaking chart, put your life into your hands. And that's what that is when you got that chart. Your life is in your hands. And when we know more about Daphne, Gemini rising, I see you. When we see, when we learn that, when we see ourselves, we understand ourselves. And when we do that, we then learn to accept who we are as we are. We're like, well, damn, I came in this way. I don't have to feel bad about this. I don't have to make up excuses. I don't have to lie about this. I don't have to try to hide who I am. This is the way my maker made me, damn it. Right. Right. Exactly. And so that's, I think, a very liberating thing, especially for females. Not leaving out any of the guys, but remember, we're in a patriarchy world and we're trying to recalibrate that world. And so as women, yeah, it's time to absolutely step up and truly, yeah, step forward and know that you have a place at the table and support one another. Truly, truly, truly. That's the only way that's going to happen. We have to do it. It has to come from us. We have to be responsible for it. If we're in a patriotic world, it's because we chose. We set back. We stepped down. So it's our time. No, it's time to step forward again. Girl power, absolutely. Very good. Um, absolutely. Like I started the live, you might not have seen it. Like I had all Fs, preschool, grade school, like all Fs, right? All Fs. Absolutely. So don't feel bad about any of it. Everybody learns at a different rate of speed, and there's a reason. There is a reason. Uh, uh, oh, I knew when my ex-husband died. My mom said that, um, this was so many years ago. So I knew when my ex died. I just saw that, Eileen. Um, was your ex death a sudden thing? Was it unexpected? Was it a surprise? By the way, with everybody that's here, I made this announcement earlier in the live, and I'm just going to say it again because I always forget. I'm offering a Starry Night Lives, private lives. So if you want in on something like that, make sure you send me an email and you let me know that you would be interested in that. And it will not be on YouTube. It will be a private live. Okay, so where was that? Where she said, damn, where did it go? I know it's here somewhere. So you hadn't talked to him for 2 years. I knew when he had died. So you don't know if it was sudden? I mean, you would know his age, right? And possibly, and if you don't know, that's fine. I'm just curious because then it's really a thing, right? If all of a sudden, or maybe he was sickly, and it was, and not that that matters. It doesn't change your ability, the information that comes through, because for your chart, Eileen, there's like that soul history there. So with people who you come into contact with when things happen with them, like, you feel it, you know it. You're that's what's it's Cancer in the 8th house, and you've got so many planets there. Like, yeah, it's strong. Uh, hadn't talked to him for 2 years. Mm. Kelly at the beach? What is up, Kelly at the beach? My Sun and Mercury are both in Libra. My Sun is 7 degrees, and my Mercury is at 28. Woo! Woo! Okay, so if you go to Placidus, it goes to the 8th house. So either way, they're both in the same house, I guess is what you're saying. And your Mercury's way ahead of your Sun. Okay, because they're both in the same size. So Mercury way ahead of your Sun, you know things ahead of time. Possibly a fast learner, right? You get things before everybody else. It's in Libra energy too, so that's strong. So that's within the relationships. Venus is ruling this. So it's going to be about those relationships, things being fair and balanced and equality, right? It colors it. It definitely does. 7th house relationship. In Placidus, it's the 8th. Wow. Okay, so whole sign, it's in the 7th. Um, but if in Placidus being in the 8th, the question is they're both in the same house. That's kind of my thing. And if they're both in the same house, then it just makes it less complex. It makes it easier to understand. There's not as much there. And it makes it, like I said, about Libra energy and about the significant one-on-one relationships. However, you said that when you look at it on a different chart, it's in the 8th house, which really changes it then, if it's in the 8th house. So only you can say which one rings more true for you in your life. Is it 8th house themes like that you, if it's 8th house, your Mercury in 8th house, all the 8th house stuff, the occult, right? Talking to dead loved ones, spirit guides, connecting with the other side, astrology, the 8th house, deep wounds and hurts, maybe some tragic stuff there with significant one on one relationships. If it's Libra, right? Intense wounds, marriage, even business partnerships because it's Libran energy. So I guess you got to figure out which one it resonates more deeply for you, but your Mercury's ahead of your Sun, so your information is usually going to be a little bit more clearer, right? You hear things a little bit sooner than somebody else, and that also speaks to the way you learn, how quickly you can catch on to things. Oh, you said in both house systems it's the same. Yes, both house systems have both in the same house. Okay, gotcha. I understand what you're saying. So what do you think? Which house feels more true to you in terms to your Mercury? Um, oh, I got you. I got you, Eileen. He was sick, but I wasn't expecting him to die. Okay, Adina, I see. A quick peek for me. Yeah, Adina, you've been here the whole time. Let me find Adina real quick. Um, Adina's working on top of all that. Not only is she here, she's at the damn job. And Adina, I thought I saw you say, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you were, there's just so many. Um, so much time, or so many charts, so little time, right? 100% battery, we're good to go. And we're looking for Adina's chart. All right, let's go find Adina. Da da da. There we go. AD. Got it. All righty, let's go to that. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Sheet. That's what I wanted. A lot quicker that way. I love this thing. It saved me so much time. Here we grow. All right, Kelly, hold that thought. I see you 22 dropout, Sun and Mercury and Gemini. What does that mean? Do you know your degrees? Mr. Boss Man. He's like, I'm working, damn it. So we got Adina's chart here. Now, Adina's chart, her Mercury is ahead of her Sun. You see this? There's her Mercury. And that there is what you call a crazy ass massive stellium. Holy shit. Big. Like go large, supersize me. Like that's what that is. Holy shit. I mean, it's incredible. It's really, really uh just an extra large stellium. Like, I'll take 2 sides with that, please. Or only take 1 side with that, please, because I don't have enough room on my plate for anything else. Holy crap. That is just large, big stuff. And her Mercury is 20 degrees technically, 20 degrees ahead of her Sun. This is knowing shit way ahead of time. Girl, this makes life hard. I mean, it makes life easy in the sense that you know things ahead of time, but here it's in your 3rd house. And so this absolutely makes this difficult because this means you're the only one that knows the shit this far ahead of time, especially when it comes to siblings and coworkers. This can make it very challenging because if you're the only one that knows it, others may look at you like, are you crazy? Right? Because what you know, you can't. How do you explain you know it? How do you explain you know it? Like, you would have to, obviously super detective power, but as long as you can show how you know something. But being in Scorpio, it's really psychic energy. And not to mention kind of knowing shit about coworkers and siblings and just peers in general that you may have no business knowing. Unbelievably psychic energy, meaning you're picking up on other people's thoughts, right? Their wounds, the tragic shit, like picking up on that kind of stuff. And so for all Scorpio energy, especially with this much, we have to really cultivate discernment. Like what is proper to talk about? What is proper to share? What do I reveal? Like you know what I mean? Like it comes where do I talk about this? Because I know stuff that wasn't told to me. I know things about this person or that they didn't share with me, but yet I know that. I know these things. And so that makes it even more challenging cuz some of the stuff might not be all that great. And that is where the freaking frustration comes in with Mars. It gets Mars as a co-ruler of Scorpio is already easily frustrated. Very easily frustrated. And this Mercury needs to keep her head buried. Needs to keep her head buried, not ignorant, of course, but needs to keep her mind busy and actively learning for sure. Third house learning. Otherwise, if not, she'll be actively learning and talking and communicating and sharing information about all the third house things and people, right? That's what happens there because this Mercury is, yeah, it's just a lot. And then there's a South Node in Scorpio. Again, another superpower, another chart with this extremely psychic energy of just knowing shit, of just knowing shit. And it makes it pretty darn tricky. It makes it tricky. Wow. Talk about multitasking at the job right now, working in the chat. That's crazy. That's crazy strong. That I find that amazing. Not that wouldn't be me. I'd be like, hold on a minute. I'll catch up with y'all in about a couple of weeks." Absolutely, Eily. You said it best. Oh my god. She gets the award, a PhD in Scorpio. I mean, Pluto in Scorpio, the sun in Scorpio, and then the people she knows. Even the people she hooks up with and knows, it's conjunct Pluto. Holy shit. I know Pluto is all about the minutes, and it is, but you just have so much here. You even have something right on the other side of Pluto, and then you're in your sun. So it kind of all blends together. It kind of all functions at one. Like you have a stellium within a stellium. You have a stellium within your stellium. 9 degrees. 9 degrees. I could probably even go further, actually. I could probably even include the 13 now that I think about it. Yeah, because your house cusp line is at 13 and you have a planet at 13. So we could even absolutely, but see, then I'm like, okay, shit, we might as well. No, but that's 6 degrees away. So we'll stick with my stellium within a stellium theory. Like all of this here, yeah, it like functions as one body, like another being altogether. Holy, holy crap. My gosh. So crazy. Oh my God. Scorpio energy in the house of love. Yeah. What do you think about that, Melanie? Don't be shy. You can be honest. I'll be shy. No, I won't be shy. I'll be honest. When you hear the word attachments, yeah, big time because it's Scorpio and Taurus together. Goes after what it desires and it can has a tendency to likely stay attached to it for sure. And that's the way you came in. That is just how you were born. That's the way you came in, man. And so we live our lives to learn how to work with the energy, how to master the energy, how to treat the energy as a tool and to not allow it to control us because that's the teaching, these are the inclinations and the impressions that we are under. They do not control us, they're not supposed to, but they give us our impressions and inclinations. Wow. My gosh. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. I know, right? Like, holy crap. Holy crap, Adina. Okay, Bella, I got you. Thank you. Um, Adina, you are welcome. You are welcome. Yeah, absolutely larger than life. Like that became your life, no doubt. How could it not become your life? Oh my God. This would be it it yeah. I mean, you do have other stelliums, but this is so powerful. So freaking powerful. It might at times feel as though Yeah, that it controls your life or that it is your life. Your life begins and ends with Scorpio and nothing else matters, right? It might feel like that at certain times, absolutely, depending upon what those outer cycles are doing, for sure. It's crazy, 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 crazy. That's the question, G. Are you crazy? Is that what she just said? Yeah, G, are you crazy? That's the question. You mean, are you crazy? No, you're not crazy. We know you're not crazy. You know, you're a freaking archaeologist, man. Like you've taken that Mercury and you knew early on, I need to use this shit to dig for real. Not just in books, but to literally physically go and dig also. Right? Adina's fucking Indiana Jones. Ivy says she has a difficult time letting go. Well, anytime we got that, well, that makes sense considering you had all that stuff in the eighth house, Eileen, and the emotional attachments, right? Because it's Cancer energy there. Yeah, that's hard. It is. It's hard. But once we talk about it, recognize it and talk about it, it won't have that kind of control over you any longer. 1 minute behind. Am I on schedule or something? Absolutely. Absolutely, Eileen. Absolutely. um, there's probably some fear there. Like, okay, if I unleash this power and I don't know what'll happen if I unleash this shit, right? Like, I really truly would think that that is exactly what's the 1 minute behind thing, Melanie? I don't know what that means. Um, so let me address dude real quick. 22 dropout says, I have my Mercury at 11. He came in with this comma. He said his Mercury's at 11 and his sun is at 14. So they're in the same sign. They're in Gemini. So this means that your Mercury is a little bit behind your sun, which means there might be a little bit of delay because it's really close to your sun. And what happens when it's close to the sun is your ability to think and to learn, right? Even to communicate. Like sometimes, even see, here's the thing, you got it in Gemini. Gemini is the talker, the thinker, the communicator. So for you, might not be as obvious, the thinking, the talking, the communicating, especially if you have other signs in Gemini or even house cusp lines in Gemini energy, which you obviously, well, no, actually, you could have Gemini energy completely stuck in a house where it's not on a house cusp line. Then that would also be a thing. That would be a thing too. That would decrease your ability to learn, decrease your ability to think and to talk and to communicate. Having your sun and your Mercury so close together, typically, whether regardless of the sign it's in, is that a power to learn and to communicate and to share information effectively is lessened. It's weakened. That's the teaching. That's the basic version of it. But when it's in Gemini, right? And there can also be other things in your chart that might send trine energy to your Mercury that might kind of help it out a little bit because it's Gemini and Mercury rules Gemini and your sun is there. So it's all about I'm online, this makes sense. You're online and you're on a goddamn chat. Like, right? Strong Mercury energy are people who are at work and who are like, "Oh yeah, sure, I got it done. I'm not on top of that." And they're like chatting up and they're watching, it's these are the multitaskers for sure. Um, Good question though, and I'm glad you brought that up. I need a mod. Well, Sarah, I didn't know you were still awake. You're still here? Sarah is just soaking it all in, apparently. She must be over there like this. She's watching and she's like this, just writing shit down the whole time. um, I am probably too late. Oh, you checked out for a little bit. Well, that's okay. I mean, I wasn't expecting on being past 1 o'clock. I came on an hour late, 10 o'clock, so 10 to 1, yeah. Or somewhere around 10. That's right, never late. That's the rule. People show up, it's great. People don't, it's great. because then the people that are there, we have more time to go deeper. Like that's just like it goes both ways. Like it's never a fail, you know. Um, so who else? I think I saw someone I didn't say hello to. I'm sure there's probably been some other people that I didn't say hi to, and I apologize for people who were here. But we'll catch you next time. We're going to try to see if we can do this more often. We'll see. This is all tentative. So did you show the pics of the moon? No, I've been looking at charts. You definitely haven't been here. I've been looking at charts all night. We started talking about the Mercury and showing examples. No, we've been showing charts the whole damn time. But that's a great idea. Let's do that right now. That's a great thing to do in the last 5 minutes. Let me show you this. This is the full moon that we're in right now, right? We had the full moon. The peak of it was on Saturday night. Tonight's Monday, so it's starting to wane, right? Starting to get a little bit smaller, even though it might not look smaller. We've got some pictures here of that moon, and the question is, what do you see? That's the question. And I'm really fascinated to find out what you guys see. Is this crazy? What do you guys see? There's no wrong answer, first of all. First of all, your mind and your imagination, like, yeah, no wrong answers. What do you see? And then I'll pull up the second one. The moon was beautiful. Okay, so there's that one. Oh, let me see if I can get rid of me. How can I get rid of me? So I can have two things on the screen. Oh, whoops, my bad. Sorry about that. I don't see the same things right now that I saw the first time I saw it. Like it's changed for me. Isn't that funny? And that makes sense. The moon has changed. I mean, the moon's in Capricorn now. Yeah. That night, the moon was in Sagittarius. That when she took this original photo, it was in Sag. And so when something is in Sag, think Jupiter, think your imagination, think the way your brain sees imagery, right? Now my mind is in Capricorn. My moon is in Capricorn, I should say. And so it's kind of changed. Well, of course, Mercury's moved too, but still. It's like I can't see what I even saw before. How weird is that? So crazy. Yeah, let me read through these comments. There's some interesting comments here. Um, the moon was beautiful. Please enable super chats. Well, the problem with that, I used to do that for a short time, like an experiment. And what would happen is I would be working literally like I am now, and there'd be people who would be queued up, and people would come in with the super chat and they would want like front center attention right at that moment. And I didn't like that at all. I kind of thought, I'm not down for that. I'm just not. Because I got people who've been waiting, people who've not just waiting, but engaging, like contributing to the live. So what works for me best is, again, right under the video, there's lots of different ways that you can help support. And if you want a chart, if you want me to look at your chart, you could do that before the live begins anytime. And then that way I know ahead of time that there's someone I have to look out for that can take priority. But at least I know ahead of time. And then I can work it in. Does that make sense? Is that fair? Like that's just what works best for me and I think is most fair for everybody involved. But you are more than welcome to uh to give whatever you want to help the channel grow by yeah, we're working on a new microphone. I can't tell you how many times I've dropped this poor thing on the ground. So, getting back to I'm sorry, I just happened to see that. I was looking for this made my night. Thank you so much. Well, good. I'm so glad. Um so did you okay, great. Moon was beautiful. Awesome live, awesome chat. I passed the heck out. Okay, so dragon, Melanie. I'm like, where are these? I saw all the comments. Dragon. Melanie sees a dragon. Um, I know, I'm not sure what I see right now, but when she showed this to me on Saturday or Sunday morning, whenever I saw it, because it was like she was saying in the chat that night that she was staring at the moon and how beautiful it was, and because we're every live every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Um, it was just cool because that was the full moon. Like we were talking about the full moon at the hour of the full moon. It was crazy. So I could see so clearly. I was like, "Dude, I see Maverick from Top Gun in here." Like, for real, like, with the sunglasses on. But I don't see that now at all. It's so weird. I don't see that. I mean, I could see the hair and everything. It was so wild. I could see the sideburn, not like long sideburns, but I could just see the hair. Now, it's just weird. I don't see the same thing at all. But I do see I do see a dragon, I see that, and I also saw okay, we could say a dinosaur too, a sonogram, right? Absolutely, I can see that in there too, because that was the other thing, it was like I saw this face on the right-hand side, but then I could see what looked like 2 faces together, like one person facing one way and the anyhow, a lot of crazy shit I was seeing, I was like, "Wow." Is it true the 8th house is traditionally Scorpio? Absolutely. Good question. Absolutely. There are no dumb questions here. It is Scorpio. If it's not Scorpio, what would it be? Because you said traditionally. So I want to know what's the other thing that you've heard. I like learning. Yeah. Melly's like, yep, I see a dragon. A dog barking at the moon. A dog barking at the moon. Yeah, I see that. It definitely could be that. I see that. Oh my gosh. I see a T-Rex. Bella says she sees a T-Rex. She's got Mercury in the 12th. Oh, wait, was that the chart I saw? No, that wasn't Bella's chart, was it? Bella, we didn't see your chart tonight, did we? I know, it's 1:40. I have to get the hell out of here. Um, yeah, awesome pics. Okay, so here's Sarah's take on it all, the one who took the picture. At first, I saw a man's face, and then his features, the nose, the mouth, the sunglasses, right, the hand, yes, exactly. But then as I look deeper, I see even more going on all around him. Yes. That's what I saw too. I saw more going on. I saw even like two beings on the to the left of him. And it was weird because it was like the two beings were almost like one being or something because they were like almost an attached head in a way, but one I could see like facing one way and the other facing the opposite direction. I was like, "Oh, it's Gemini." And I saw, "Oh shit, Gemini with a Sagittarius full moon. That makes sense." I was getting all crazy about it. Um, it was really wild. Um, okay, so for anybody whose chart I haven't gotten to, you go to the email below. And before I end this live, I just want to make another mention again because there's different people at different times. Every Saturday, Starry Night Live, the Star Room, 9 p.m. every Saturday night. And that's Central Daylight Time Zone. And then I'm trying to organize the Starry private lives. It will not be on YouTube. If you're interested in something like that, definitely go to the email below and make sure that I know. That's important. Okay. I have to know what I'm working with, how many people are interested to see if it's, if we should run it and to see what happens. So, yes, it's a crocodile. Did I see someone say a crocodile? There's so much more on the phone than there is here. T-Rex on the moon, mountains on the moon, T-Rex and the mountains on the moon, or a croc. How come I didn't see that there? Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. I'm like, what the hell? I see her. Scorpio Sun 4, Mercury 28th and the 10th. Oh, your Mercury's way ahead of you, Kamali. Wow. Yeah, your Mercury is way ahead of your Sun, girl. That's good. That's a benefit. They're in the same sign, I'm assuming. Yeah. Wow. So Sarah, do you still kind of see some of the things? Because I mean, of course, I see the sunglasses, but it looks different to me. And many times when you're looking at photos, like I learned this a lot. I learned this a lot. Yeah. Anyway, it's getting late for me. That when you change not just the color, but the size of the photo that you look at, like if you were to expand on it or minimize it, it changes your perception. Completely can change. And so I was looking at it on the laptop when I opened it up in my email. It wasn't on my phone. So it might be a little bit different here because I've expanded it, but has your perception, like what you see, has it changed at all? Um Sarah's like, I went back to bed already. Or no, actually Sarah's the one who doesn't sleep. Insomniac Theater, remember that? They probably still have it, or somebody probably still does it. And no, I don't have an like insomnia. But I didn't do a video tonight, and I thought, well, let's talk about Mercury. And, you know, so all the lessons for people, if you didn't hear like all the detailed stuff about Mercury and the lessons and the charts, this will be a video that I will probably cut in half and then repost it because there's a lot of good information here and a lot of good charts with examples and a lot of good feedback. Thank you, Sarah Dipity. She wanted to know what everybody saw and what everybody thought. And yeah, it worked out really well this way. It was such a good idea, Sarah. I'm so glad you suggested that I do it this way because honestly, unless you're like a big channel, if I put it in my comments, my community tab, most people aren't going to see it. YouTube just doesn't, they just don't put the information out there. And they don't, it's not their big priority. Little channels get no love. No love. But that's fine because I'm not really the person who wants a channel where I'm not where I can't be engaged with the community, with the people. Like I think it wouldn't be as satisfying for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, if a channel gets to a certain level, that becomes, well, yeah, there's just restrictions. Like you're only one person. Like, yeah. So, I'm glad that everybody enjoyed the live. Thank you. It's great to hear that you enjoyed it. And so I am so glad for everybody who contributed and who enjoyed the chat and who worked while being on the live and in the chat. Adina and dude's name. Where did it go? Holy crap. What was his name? Oh, there he is. Or there he was. Shout out to 22 Dropout and Adina on the job working and still in the chat and staying relevant. Holy shit. Holy shit. 22 Dropout is one of the bosses though, so yeah. Yes, set your phone to send you notifications. Yeah, well, this live, there was no notification. I just created it and bam, went live, literally within seconds. So it wouldn't have been there was an early notification. It was very spontaneous. But yeah, in the future, actually some of the lives, because I'm dealing with my mom some nights, where it's very late in the evening for some reason. She's 2 hours ahead of me. So sometimes it's literally 9:00, 9:05, 9:10, and it's 7:00 and we're just doing meds, you see? So if I'm starting late, it's because we're doing that. And so there's not enough time for me to notify you guys because I don't know when I'm going live. You follow? But Saturday nights is a lock-in, okay? You are welcome. Thank you, everybody. Oh, wait, let me get Sarah Dipty's last comment in here to find out. I saw a big Leo energy coming through saying, with sunglasses on, it's my time to shine. Yeah. Yeah, it was it at least we all got to see it, and I always find it fascinating, like when you look up at clouds in the sky and people see different things, do you read the clouds? Yeah, it's just cool. I love that. So thank you for capturing the Sagittarius full moon. And then we all got to look at it together. How insane is that? All right, guys, we are ending the live. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that joined in and who had something to say. And for those that watched and didn't say anything, that's okay. And there was somebody early on who was like, hey, I'm just in the background here watching. That's even better. Like, yeah, just let us know you're there. And yeah, go to the email below. All right. Email below. The Gmail, the PayPal, the Venmo, what's the other one? Cash App, all that stuff is below. And I think under the other videos, there's a thanks thing, Again, you do what you want, you do what works for you. Anything and everything is appreciated. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everything. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I really didn't think there'd be even a few people tonight just because it was a Monday night. But turns out there's people overseas who are like, what the hell? I don't even know where half of you guys are from. Okay, let me cut this live off. I could be talking all damn night. It's 1:49 now, my time. Time for me to wind down and go to bed. Thank you, everybody. I am going to end the live. And if you haven't been to the Starry Night Live before, stay tuned for the Starry Night Live music. It's the best. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, that was fun stuff. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.